It's Dave VV, and welcome to another edition of VPC. Can you do a Dave dance? Can you do a dance Dave even? I was about to say, I don't know what a Dave dance is. You can do whatever you like, whatever's going to make you happy. Yeah, you'll be flying. You'll be flying. Ba, 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 ba. Dance Dave, dance. Actually, I think you've seen me dance. I'm pretty sure I've done it on a day announcement video. Hey. Here we go. No fly. Just waiting for. I've joined. We're just waiting for the connection. Hopefully, we can get Anthony on. I'll just add you to the stream, hopefully.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Hey, man, sorry for the mix-up. I thought it was at 4 here, not 3. I'm badly translating that.
No worries at all. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
No, of course. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I'm just going to turn you up a bit there. So, Virtual Pub Club, the whole idea is we go a bit deep on breweries, backstory and future plans. But as is tradition, who are you?
My name is Anthony Finley. I'm the brand representative for Other Half Brewery. I was the first employee here, beyond the owners, and do a lot of the events, the traveling, and setting up things like that, and some of the social media, some of the merchandising. Sorry, I'm going to the office. It is super loud out here.
No worries.
I thought I was going to be able to function outside, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
No, sounds like it's all kicking off.
There we go.
There you go. Everyone will get a grand tour as well.
Wish the brewery's so loud. I was trying to see if I could hear myself. So it's good. It's quiet in here. Get set up and get this mask off.
No worries.
That's perfect. There we go.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Andy, for coming on. You won't be surprised to know people have been asking me since I've been doing this if we can get you guys on. So it's a pleasure to finally have you.
Of course, thanks for having us. I appreciate it. I miss the UK. I do a lot of traveling out there, and it's one of my favorite places to visit. I really love the people out there, the breweries. Everybody's great.
Oh, awesome. So before I sent you some questions beforehand, but before we kind of go into that, I'd quite like to find out. So how did you get involved in brewing?
I was working in the beer industry already, working at bars and stuff around, so knew quite a bit of people in the industry. And there was a place called Beer Craft that used to be open, and the owner I was good friends with. Sometimes we'd stay in there late night, crack some bottles, and get drunk. And I was in there one late night, and he introduced me to Sam Richardson, who's one of the co-founders, owners, brewmaster. At the time, I was homebrewing a lot and working in bars, and he was like, "Hey, you should meet this guy, Sam." I met Sam, and he was like, "Oh, we need help with the build out. If you want to help." Ben said he used to do construction, because I did used to do construction. So I just started helping out with that. And then when it came closer to time to open up, he was like, instead of paying you in beer, if you want, you can be an apprentice brewer the first, 6 months are open. And so that's what I did. But that quickly turned into me running the bar, then helping with deliveries. I helped them with sales, and I was practicing brewing at the same time. So it's kind of cool to do everything. It's crazy. It just kind of happened randomly.
That sounds awesome. So how long ago was that?
All of that was probably about 7 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because we've been open about 6.5 years. So that was about 7 years ago that I met them and started helping with the construction and finishing the build out in the brewery. So.
Wow, so you've literally seen it grow from the bottom up.
Yeah, seen it from when we were like, we had three tanks. We had two 30-barrel tanks, one 15-barrel tank, one bright tank, no canning line, nothing, just the 15-barrel brew house. And now we're at 22 30-barrel tanks. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you did home brewing yourself before you kind of got fully into the mix.
Yeah.
What made you get into that?
From when I got into beer, it was something that I really wanted to learn. And then some of the other guys who I had met at that place, Beer Craft, that's like one of the like kind of more OG Brooklyn beer spots. It's unfortunately closed now. But one of the guys that was there at a homebrewing setup, he had a Sabco setup, which I don't know what a Sabco setup is. So it's basically like, it's instead of using like a igloo cooler or something like that, it's basically 3 kegs that they cut the tops off of, so that they're actual metal, they're all made of stainless steel. And then normally they'll be on a racking system set up with pumps. You can have ones that are different elevations, so you can do gravity fills and feeding off of it. And so you do 15 gallons at a time. So you do like a 50-liter keg at a time doing brewing. And he showed me how to do that. He was working at Beer Craft. He's like, come by, and so I started coming by and checking it out. And that really sparked my interest in it. Just seeing it, because they were doing all grain batches, so it was dope. Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Well, you obviously learned quite nicely, and doing all right with that side of things now. So that's awesome. So, if we look at Other Half and its history, what was kind of the starting? What made Other Half become a brewery?
Sam was the head brewer at Greenpoint Beer Works, which also made Kelso beer and a couple of other Heartland Brew Pub in Manhattan, and they made the beers for all that, as well as contracted for some other breweries on the East Coast. And he had been a brewer already for probably about 10 years prior to that. Mm-hmm. He started to come up with the idea, and then one of the other owners and co-founders, Matt, he was they did a dinner together, so like a chef and beer pairing, and Matt was a chef, and they kind of just clicked, kind of hit it off, and Matt was already home brewing. And so eventually Matt quit working in kitchens and went over to work in a brewery in Greenpoint Beer Works with Sam. And Andrew was a good friend of theirs, so they all kind of helped put together the idea to want to do a brewery. And so then they opened it up. So
awesome.
Made the dream come true.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What was the first beer?
The first beer was our Other Half IPA, which is our West Coast style IPA.
Mm-hmm. Nice. What's your personal go-to?
My personal go-to of ours, or just style-wise in general?
Let's go with Other Halves first.
One of my favorite beers that we make all the time is Forever Ever, which is a session IPA. It has everything I want. It has good hop character, good mouthfeel. It's like 4.8%. Still super vibrant, but super easy to drink. So I love that balance.
Awesome.
And so, if I had to, just real quick, if I had to go double IPA, I would probably have to go with Mylar Bag. It's probably my favorite.
Nice. So if I never knew that about how Other Half kind of came together. So someone experienced in the kitchen, and then with the experience kind of collaborating with the brewing side. So it's quite a tricky one to say, but if you had to describe what makes Other Half in regards to its beer, so when you pick one up, that's an Other Half beer. What are you looking for to put into that batch?
If we want, what we do, even we were doing more West Coast style before, and what we're doing now, I think, is we always look to emphasize the hop characteristics. That's what we're going for. So, never too bitter, but definitely want to showcase the aromatics and the flavor profile. We want the mouthfeel to be really important, to be kind of as smooth as possible, especially given the intensity of the ingredients that are in it. So that's where a lot of the haze comes from, for not just us, but a lot of the breweries that are doing it as well, is the addition of flaked oats, flaked wheat, and even, a lactose too as well. All those things are kind of built into the beer to give it a nice mouthfeel and give it a nice smoothness and kind of emphasize all the other characteristics of the hops. So
nice. So with your experience at Other Half, what's the worst mistake you've personally made while doing a brew?
Oof. It wasn't. I didn't have too many like during like when I was brewing, but I would say that probably the worst mistake I remember, one that at least freaked me out the most, was I was in a cellar and I had transferred one of the beers from the fermenter into the bright tank, and I had twisted the manway just a little bit too tight. But I thought, oh, it's fine. I just backed it up a little bit. I walked away, and maybe like 5 minutes later, I just hear like this hissing sound, and I see liquid just like kind of coming out of the tank a little bit, like dripping. I'm like, all right, that's not too bad. If I need to, I can get it carved up a little faster or get another tank ready and move it over. And then within like 3 minutes, that manway just started to give way and like the gasket inside and just started shooting beer everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, this whole tank is going to go down the drain. And I was with my buddy Joe, luckily, and he's just looking at me. I'm looking at him. He's like, shit, we needed to get into this other tank. This other tank wasn't completely ready. It had one caustic cycle on it, but it hadn't had a second. It hadn't been it had one caustic on it. It hadn't been sanded yet, and so I had to hook up real quick, run a sanding loop with a hose, and run it, rinse it, and then knock it out fast. And all that took like 10, 15 minutes, and I was like, there's gonna be no beer left in this tank. It just looked crazy. And then by the time we moved it and we looked on the side glass, we realized we probably only lost like a barrel or two worth of beer, which is it's like 3.5, 4 hectoliter. So yeah. I just was like, oh, okay, so it like looks way worse than it actually was. It looked like the whole tank was gonna be empty when we were done. I was freaking out. But that was probably the worst thing. Just like probably over screwing. That was probably the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that goes from needing brown trousers to suddenly feeling quite overjoyed. It's like, how am I going to explain all of that gone? Oh no, it's just don't worry about it. It's only a couple of kegs. It's only a couple of kegs.
Luckily, they're 30-barrel batches, so it's like 3-4 kegs lost, but not too bad in the realm of 60 kegs.
Enough for a telling off, not enough for a firing. We've got a couple of questions. So,
sure.
First one's not a question. It's more of from our good friend Meg Hanswell. Can you give Lou Does Beer a hug from England the next time you see him? Socially distanced hug, obviously.
For sure. I'll definitely say what up to Lou. We're not supposed to give a hug, but I'll be all strapped up with gloves and masks and not give him a hug, for sure.
Let's see. Hayes Crusades asks, we'd love to know which is your favourite Altogether collab that you've tried.
I mean, we've done a lot. We've done over 850 of them, for sure. We might actually have hit into 1,000, maybe. I've tried probably like 40 or 50 of them.
Wow.
One of my favorites is probably one from Cerebral in Denver. Theirs was really good. The KCBC one, which is a local one, was really good as well. So yeah, I mean, those are two that like stand out in my head off the bat. But I mean, I haven't had a bad one yet. There's been a lot of really good ones that I've had from other breweries too. So
would you kind of explain what the thought process and the execution of the Altogether program was?
So the idea was when COVID hit, New York City in particular, not other cities as well, have a very big hospitality industry, and a lot of what we do is based on that. We've all worked in a lot of bars and done a lot, so we wanted to figure out something that we can do and lend support to and help engage support in everybody else's cities to help. However, whether it's their taproom staff, their brewery staff, bar staff, or bar staff outside, if they have friends that have restaurants and bars, to be able to kind of raise money and bring awareness to some of the places so that they can, have a lot of places had GoFundMes and things like that. So we just wanted to do something that was easy. So we started with a base recipe of the recipe was either you can make it as a New England style IPA or a West Coast style IPA. And you can start with that. You can alter it however you want. If people are not a brewery or cidery, they could also do it. So we had a couple other people do things like that. So it's just to show support, so everybody could do it within the local market. We donated to something that was local to here, and we have wanted breweries to encourage taking care of their local markets, or even their own house, or in anything else.
Awesome, and it's fantastic. So, this evening I've got a couple on deck. We've had a few, and it's been really nice this side of the water to see how many breweries are taking up the kind of the challenge, as it were, of putting their their skills behind it, but B, also giving to their community. So hats off to what you guys have done, starting a real movement in the beer community.
For sure. Shout out to Track too. That's the only one I got to try from the UK. There's a bunch of other people that sent stuff over from the UK, but the only one that really made it to me that I got to get in my fridge was the one from Track. And as always, they never disappoint. I had the homie Rich from Brown Ale and Company. He sent me over one of those and a can of Sonoma, because I miss Sonoma. So
it's a very easy crushable one, that. Okay. Well, we'll make sure we can sort you out when you manage to get back over.
Yeah.
Our good friends Triple Hops, brilliant beer podcast. It's a tricky one, but your favourite UK brewery?
Oh, I definitely can't pinpoint one for sure. I mean, I could definitely drop just a couple, and again, this isn't even in any particular order or one that I prefer over the other. But I love Day Guys. I love Track. Cloudwater. I love Verdant. I've been loving the Donzoko lagers. I've been loving the Braybrook lagers. Trying to think who else. I mean, North Brewing is always fire. Everything that I have from them. Northern Monk always looks out. They've been showing us love since we started, and really working with them from the jump, which has been good. I mean, Colonel is always fire. Like, their beers are always super lit. There's definitely more. I just keep having more pop in my head. Those are just some of the first ones that jump out. Burnt Mill, I love Burnt Mill. Those are homies. They got a lot of dope stuff. So
awesome. So when you finally get back over here, I'm going to get you a few cans of Sonoma. Is there any particular beer that you've had while you've had your visits over here that you're like, man, I'll need that again?
From all those breweries have had dope things, but it's like, I guess it's like the cheesy, corny being like the outsider there, but anybody that knows that's hung out with me there, that I like the whatchamacallit is my joint, Landlord on Cask. That's like, nice. That's it's like that thing that was like something for me coming from New York. There was one guy that used to throw a cask festival, and it never really took off like that. It did okay at the time, but then it kind of died out. And so it was all like just pins and firkins, just like right on a rack, just straight gravity. When I got over there and tried like good cask beer beyond that, it was just mind blowing. I mean, that's like one of them. Sonoma on Cask is one of them for sure. Just in general, cask beer when I get over there is lit, especially when I'm in the north. So it's fire.
Sounds good. Oh, easy beer orders so far for you. I think I think a lot of us would want to be accommodating for you. Andy Schofield has asked favourite player in NBA at the minute.
I really can't answer. I don't really watch the NBA like that. I know some of the players, so from seeing them is cool, but I don't really follow it like that to have a good answer for that. I don't want to half step or lie or fake it. I don't follow the NBA like that enough to know who would be my favorite player right now.
What do you get to on your downtime? So I imagine it's quite hard in that kind of place where you work in house all day. You want to get off. You just want to have a beer. What's your kind of go-to? What's your personal? I need some chill time. I need some me time.
Like, what do I do or where do I go?
What do you do? What's your
I mean,
I need some Anthony time. I'm gonna do me.
I mean, when I get off, if it's like free time, I got a day off, I'm gonna go probably meet up with a couple of homies, maybe go to a friend's bar. I mean, obviously it's changed now, but that was like the move. We would go check out a couple of friends' bars, have a few beers, have a cocktail or so, like, or maybe even if it's the brewery, some Fridays we would hang out at the brewery. A bunch of the staff would kind of break down. We'd have a barbecue on the corner and just drink some beers, get like some Miller High Life or something like that, or some lagers from the local breweries, and just chill out and crack a bunch of beers.
Nice. Yeah, I feel sorry for your liver. All that trying and having to relax and chill. So from I mean, you've got some really good experience in the field. What do you think makes a good brewer?
A good brewer, I mean, this is different. You know, obviously your ability to brew and technique and I think having an understanding of what you want to achieve. You know, like if you want to be a traditionalist and do things that way, then that's good. If you want to be well-rounded and do everything, that's good. But, you know, if you want to make hop-forward beers, then you got to be able to understand that and manipulate that and work with that as much as possible. You know, there's different people. Like I said, different people want different things. So I think just from the brewer's perspective, not necessarily being a brewery owner or anything, I think it's just important to be able to execute and make beer well. Yeah, and within any style. Like I think that's an important thing.
Awesome, thank you. And we've got a couple more questions. Crafty Hoppers asked, what's the story with broccoli? All green, everything. What's the fascination with green?
I mean, everything just kind of came about because hops are green, and so then we started with weed references to green and just different. All the references to green are based on hops. You know, that's like, you know, broccoli's green, and then we came up with cabbage. Cabbage is green, and then cheddar's a reference to money, and money's green. And so they're all like connected back to hops being green, are definitely the base of the reference for everything. And so like one of our core beers is called Green City because it's, you know, it's supposed to be our set hoppy beer for New York City, and so we call it Green City.
Nice. Have you got a favorite name and a favorite label of Another Half Beer?
Favorite name and favorite label. One of my, well, it's hard. There's like some of our older classic labels which I like, which is one of my favorite older ones is we did an El Dorado single hop, which was just really simple, like simple text and some like squares and different colors, and it's just simple, and I like that label. Some of the ones that we have now, Mosaic Daydream is still one of my favorite, and Double Mosaic Daydream, and all the different, we have Triple Mosaic Daydream, all the different iterations of that Mosaic Dream, Mosaic Daydream of Fire. Oh, shout out to Maria real quick. I see she just popped in here from Wakefield. What
up? Hello. Awesome. Yeah, I've only managed to get my hand on a few, firstly, but Enhance Your Mind and Space Diamonds, label-wise, you can't. I've yet to see better on that side. Yeah, top stuff.
Those ones are good. Like the design, I liked the design. We did that. We did the Lace in Space, which was like the red diamonds, and then we did the Triple Space Diamonds, which is like black with holographic silver on it. Is you know, those, I like those labels that like you could just keep, you know, doing the triple, the double, the single version of them, and they're all dope. So
yeah, that's awesome. The definitive aspect of Other Half Beer is the smoothness. How is this achieved? Another question from the Crafty Hopper.
Nice. I mean, it's you know, it's part water profile, it's part grain bill, it's part how the yeast profile comes through and how the beer's cleared up, how it's crashed out. The same thing with the hop troop in it. I mean, we do usually some flaked oats in it, or like I said, flaked wheat will give you a little bit more of a smoothness to the palate when you brew the beer. You know, you want to get as much of the yeast off. So if you don't have any filtration, kind of got to crash it out and rack it very carefully.
Hmm.
We do run everything through a centrifuge, so it gives us some kind of filtration, a nice controlled filtration, so we can pull through the haze that we want and have some of that yeast come through and some of the hot particulate come through, but just the right amount so that it doesn't leave you a hot burn or yeast burn on the palate. So, you know, it's like people ask that a lot with home brewing, and it's something that I tried to figure out how to match with the home brewing that when I did it. And with home brewing, I would just say if anybody out there is looking to do that, like, don't focus on the yield, focus on the liquid. So, you know, once you're done, once the beer's done with fermentation, put it in your fridge, cold crash it, and then try not to move it again and then rack it. It's like if you're in a, you know, a 6-gallon or a 20-liter carboy, you may only get 15 liters out of it, 14 liters, maybe only 13. But if the beer comes out really good, then it's better to get more. It's better to get less. It's really good than more. That's you know, that's hoppy or that's hot burning it, and you got to crash it out or has off flavors.
Awesome. So how have you guys had to adapt, and what have you seen as a different change because of COVID? How have you managed to keep going?
We just, you know, we everybody's moving to curbside pickup. People can come and do pickup at the counter and pay, and it's all separated. We have everybody spaced out online. We've been doing home deliveries, and then we also we switched to doing cans to bars, and so that this way people can pick the cans at other places. We kind of pulled everything out of kegs since bars are only doing to go, so they can pick up cans and just people can come grab it. They don't have to worry about filling growlers or anything like that. So.
Oh, nice. And are you guys feeling happy with what you're able to do given the restrictions?
We've been very lucky with it. New York has been very good and very gracious as far as the lifting restrictions and giving everybody the ability to kind of do a bit of what they want. It's always been a pretty so it hasn't been that bad in New York for a while now, like in general. But with all this, they've been pretty good about to go and about home deliveries, and they kind of freed it up as fast as they could, which was good.
Awesome. So I'm going to take other half out of it, and I'm talking directly to Anthony. If I said to you, plane ticket, train ticket, whatever, is paid for, ingredients paid for, you can personally do a collaboration with any brewery in the world, who would you pick and what would you make?
Oof. It's a toss up for me, and also because I'm also thinking of the team and everybody else on the team as well, because we're all like a family. So, I mean, first that comes to mind is Russian River. We still haven't done Russian River, and it's just like it's something I know everybody rocks with here. You know, that's a bucket list thing for me. And also, I got the chance to visit there, but I know everybody in the brewery loves them as well. But if I had to pick something outside of that was like a further plane ticket away, I mean, you know, it'd always be good to do one of the Belgian breweries to do something with Drie Fontein or Cantillon. Tilken, I love Tilken. Their beers are fire all the time, and I've had the pleasure of meeting them a bunch. So, you know, in the UK, I've done a lot of the ones that we've wanted to do in the UK and work with them. There's still more that I have planned for some of the trips that we're planning to take over there, which we'll definitely come back to as soon as that time comes again. But yeah, I would say that those are definitely some of the ones. And I still got to make it back to Ireland to do Whiplash because I didn't get to do it last time I was out there because they weren't open either. So shout out to Whiplash.
Nice, exciting. Well, you're quite a well-known character at the beer festivals over here. There's always been a lot of praise, particularly when I told people you would be joining us. Everyone was over the moon, which led to a question from Triple Hot. So, who was the bearded guy at FFB dancing with the pretzel sticks?
Bearded guy at FFB dancing with the pretzel sticks. If he was with us, it was probably Cam. It was either Cam or Julian. So it's like the bigger red beard is Cam, and Julian has a shorter, like blondish one. I'm gonna say it might have been Cam. Cam was the one doing all the mouth pours and whatnot.
So what makes a good beer festival for you? What do you look for? I mean, obviously you go there predominantly for work reasons, but when you go in and go, this is the right vibe, this is where we definitely want to be coming on an annual basis or whatever it may be. What do you look for?
You know, I mean, I'm hoping that the people that are putting together the festival are organized. You know, that there's a nice balance of taking care of the breweries visiting and taking care of the customers. Um, you know, little things like just making sure that people have water when they're at the festival, from the customers to the staff and everybody working behind the bars. Um, yeah, I mean it's simple. That's it. I mean, it's a benefit when you're in a really dope space or a really dope location within a place. Those are just things that are benefits. But I feel like if people can provide, you know, food right, um, water, and just the basic things, and you know, and that everything is set up right. The equipment is good. It's just, you know, I think that's pretty much it. Just try to keep it as simple as that.
Yeah. And on the vein of kind of things that get collaboratively put together. Sorry, I'm only too deep. You wouldn't believe it, would you? Someone gets their first 6-pack of Other Half, and they say, "Do you know what? I've got a hunger on." What food would you say is the quintessential beer accompaniment food?
Ooh, so this is something that I got to give credit to Garrett Oliver for this, because he kind of finessed us on this one. Or just he didn't finesse us. He kind of pushed us on this one when he came by. We were talking to him, and he was talking about, like, especially with like lactose beers and like the oat cream IPAs, like spicy food, like really good spicy food. Like whether you're doing like spicy Thai or like Szechuan or like Caribbean food, anything like that, spicy just goes really good. If you're doing like either like a hazy double IPA or like an oat cream IPA or anything like that, I feel like those work really well. And I'm always up for food like that anyway. So as long as it's not too, I like hot food, but it was too much, you know.
Yeah, pokey, but not going to blow your head off.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a good one. So, if we're looking past COVID, what can we say? What do you think the future for Other Half looks like? You know, kind of the next 6 months, say post COVID.
I mean, if the COVID thing, you know, or they find a vaccine or cure, I think things are still going to be a slow start. We're just going to continue to do the best we can to provide the customers with beer. Continue to make good beer. That's all we really can do. There's nothing else we can do beyond it. Everything that's happening right now is just kind of us playing it by ear and making sure that what we have going is what we have going. Somebody just mentioned on there about our DC location. We're working on getting that open. Hopefully within the next few months. I don't want to say couple months. And then we'll have another location opening up in Domino as well in Williamsburg. So just trying our best, like I said, to just get people more beer, give people more options, and take care of the customers as much as possible. That's our goal for the next 6 months for sure.
Awesome. Well, on the future plans, I'm going to pick one at random because they're all the same question. Well, let's go for Brett and Beer. Any plans for Other Half to make their way over to England more?
I mean, we have plans to get over there already for sure, but obviously let's put a dent in all that. As far as the beer, we've been moving it around as much as we can home. If we hit a point where we have enough to get out there, that is one of the places that's for sure on the list. You know, we have some other people that have reached out to us from other states, and we like to kind of bounce it around, but we really don't have much to go around. And I don't want to send like 5 cases unless it's for a specific event to the UK. I want to send I want to be able to send 20, 30 cases and get to one shop in Leeds and get to a shop in Manchester and get to a shop in London and get to a shop in Birmingham or Liverpool. And, you know, I want it to be able to move around. I don't want to be like, here's like 5 cases for one shop. You know, it's you know, I feel like it's tough because everybody can't get in there to get it. If that's the case for now, then we will to like one shop. But I think even if that decision came, it was like, I know I could send 5 this week. I know I could send 5 in 2 weeks. I know I could send 5 in another week to kind of get some more people. So
that sounds great. I don't know if it's something you see in some of the states that you don't normally trade in, but in particularly in the UK, other half sometimes becomes almost a currency in the beer game. Where everyone's constantly in search of it. So what is your take on the kind of the beer trading scene, as it were?
I mean, it's part of it's become part of the game. I think it was when I started, it was less. It was only like very certain things, but there's more breweries that opened up that are making good beer in more places, and so I think it's great. It's great. I know that some people don't like it, or they have issues with it, but it allows our beer to get places that we can't get it to, and it also, for us, I know traders here in New York, they ship stuff to the UK so that they can get UK stuff in. They ship stuff to Sweden. I mean, I've met people from all over the place that have traded and shipped beers up and moved beer around. And it's crazy to see some of the places the beer reaches. And so as much as it has some drawbacks, because you can't always guarantee the quality with it, it doesn't always get shipped well, you know not long somebody's had it, I feel overall it's positive. There's more positivity of it just pushing the industry more and pushing everything, giving people the chance to try stuff more than they have.
That sounds, I agree with you. That sounds awesome. These are the beers, let's just ask. What's your favourite beer city outside of NYC? Get the tricky ones today, mate.
I mean, there's it's tough because I might go to a city and there's like 3 breweries I'm in love with, but they might be the only ones that I visited. There's like, some of the California cities have a lot more breweries around them. But if I had to pick one that I really like, man, it's tough. I mean, I like Portland, Maine is a good one. I like Manchester a lot and Leeds a lot. I mean, it's tough because it's like I feel like each city has like I can think of like a few breweries in each city that I really like, and so there's just there's so many. Charlotte was another really good one that I visited. They had some really cool breweries as well. Nashville, Tennessee has some really cool breweries in it also. Those I would say there's a few. Miami is fire. They've come up, have some really good breweries inside of Miami-Dade County. So, yeah.
Awesome. The BUR podcast, Austin game's been stepping up, and Miami as well.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I mean, all these cities are growing. It takes time. It took us time. When we first opened, it was us and Brooklyn's been around forever, obviously, and Kelso that was around. But there was maybe 3, those including those 2, like 3 breweries in the city, and then now it's like 30 or something like that. Maybe we might be up around 40. So it continues to grow. We just keep growing and keep all the cities just keep growing, keep adding more breweries, and I think as there's more competition and there's more people who've been in it for longer, having brewers that are in it a little longer, it's been great to see the quality just in a lot of places just continue to go up and go up and go up. So.
Awesome. So if I said to you can only drink one style of beer for the rest of your life, what would you pick?
Oof. I mean, I'd probably go with a Pilsner or a Helles Lager.
Oh, okay.
As much as, I like table beers a lot too. So maybe a table beer, I would say probably be a toss-up between those 3. I love IPAs, but it would only be a session IPA that I'd want to drink like all the time. I definitely need something lower ABV that I could consume more of for sure. So, session IPA table beer, like something I'm a crush. Like I'm not trying to sit down on like a hot day and drink like 3 or 4, 8.5%, 10.5%. You're like, I'll have one and enjoy it and like sip it and savor it. But I'm gonna be lit after like 2 of them. I'm done. Like, I don't know. I'm like sitting there feeling like I'm getting heat stroke, but I'm just drunk. I don't know what's going on. Like,
I mean, to be honest, that sounds like a British summer. It's something that we all seem to do. So this year has been, particularly in the UK, coined as the year of the tipper. Because we've seen, obviously, a lot of breweries have learned lessons from yourselves and other breweries stateside of what goes into a triple IPA without it just being an alcohol bomb, essentially.
Yeah.
What do you think is the next kind of big beer style that breweries are going to be focusing on, or perhaps want rejuvenation on? So a lot of other breweries that we've spoken to recently have shown a lot of love for a Pilsner, or particularly a lager. What's your thought on it?
I think lagers for sure are coming back. I mean, it's like you want to say they're coming back around, but they never really left. It's something that's always been relevant, but I think people are finding a good balance. A lot of people that got into beer just with hazy IPAs or even West Coast style IPAs just got into beer with IPAs. I think they're not leaving behind IPAs or stopping drinking them. I think people are just liking having the other options. You know, for us, we made 3 years ago when we made a lager, it wouldn't have moved at all, and now we're able to move them more. And it's not impeding on our sales and other things that we're making. It's just, I think a lot of people are just having the appreciation for a lot more. And I think that's what's important for breweries. And why I say it's good for, why I said earlier when you asked about like an important trait for brewers is to be well versed and to make good beers. You know, you have people that will try things and enjoy everything. And that's really the goal. You know, we're making what people like. So when people like more lagers, and we'll continue to make them. If we make something and people don't want it and they don't buy it, you know, it's not, we don't want to continue to make it for the volume we're doing. So I definitely think that lagers will for sure. I'm hoping that some like table beers and stuff like that and some farmhouse stuff, but I think lagers are definitely, you're seeing a lot more than just pop up. People doing Schwarz beers or dark lagers, and people seen a bunch of Maybachs, which has been really fire. That I love that style when it's executed really right. It's dope. You're seeing a lot of breweries that are doing that and seeing success with it and doing it really well. It's been really great. So I just all that I love, like more as more styles come back, and I hope more styles come back around. It's fire to have all that stuff available. I love it.
Well, variety, spice of life, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
The Hoppy Trapster Stars. What's your favourite hop at the moment?
Ooh, at the moment, if I'm gonna pick a newer one and not like a one I've liked for like a really long time, I'm gonna probably go with Cashmere. The Cashmere we've been getting has been really, really fire. It's really unique. It's really soft, but kind of like this fruity, like bubblegummy thing going on. I've really been liking the single hop Cashmere beers that us and other people have been coming out with as well. I've really been enjoying them. So.
Yeah, I think, and it's quite nice when we get these newer ones that we're only just testing the water. So
yeah,
we get that.
Rawaka too. Rawaka's fire.
Nice. I mean, if you go for the traditional kind of more commonly known hops, or more
Cascade. Cascade is always a favorite of mine. I love Cascade so much. It's like if I had to go like classic style. That's one of the moves. Simcoe is always fire. Chinook is a dope hop. So yeah.
Nice. So what was the last beer that you had that wasn't another half beer?
The last beer, I tasted a beer, maybe like about an hour and a half ago from a friend of mine who's a brewer out at Greenport Harbor, my boy Pat, and he did a barrel-aged Imperial Stout, and that was nice. So like 3 different barrels, and then blended back with some fresh Imperial Stout, about 11%. So I had 3 different types of whiskey barrels. I think it was like Dickel barrels, Basil Hayden barrels, I think Woodford barrels, and then blended with back with some fresh stout. It's really nice.
Nice. So are you big into your stout game then?
Yeah. I mean, I love good beer. If it tastes good, I'll rock with it. Like that's how I look at it with that. But yeah, I like stout. I do like stouts a lot too, though, for sure.
What's your kind of dream stout?
My dream style, but I love. So I'm gonna go back to what I said before, but set like low ABV. Or something when I homebrewed, I made a couple of them that I liked. But like 4.5, 5% like stouts. I like rye. There's a couple breweries. There's one close to here that does all like local New York State ingredients. And they do like a low ABV rye stout, and it's fire. Yeah, it's called Strong Rope is a brewery, but they do like a rye imperial stout that's under 5%, and it's like amazing. I love that beer.
Awesome. So all of this disappears. We can get some semblance of normality. Again, you've got an open plane ticket, tank of petrol, train, whatever. You get to go to any tap room in the world. What is your ideal, like, right, I need to go out and socialise properly in a tap room? Where would you go?
I don't. That's a tough call. Like, trying to think of like some of the tap rooms I've been to that. Oh, so one of my favorite tap rooms is actually so it's a little bit of a curveball, but Crack Brewery in Italy. So the way that they have it set up, it's huge ceilings in there, and they got all this like furniture from like thrift and vintage stores. They have a pool table in there. They have couches in there. It's a really nice concrete bar. Like, it's just, the room is really comfortable. Like, you just kind of, even though it's really spacious and big, you just kind of sit down there and just kind of space out of where you are. And then during the summer, they have a cool outdoor area with a lawn. And what's really cool, so the bar is like, the room opens up, and then at the end of the bar, behind the wall is a huge wall of like barrels, and it just looks cool the way that the light shines in it. That's definitely one of my favorite tap rooms as far as being far off that I've been to is probably their tap room.
Is there any country that you haven't managed to go on the while you're doing your beer journey that you're kind of itching to take out, take other half to?
For sure. I mean, it's just, for us, it's having an event or something that we can get the time for and have the ability to make it to. I mean, I'm trying to think, because there's ones that we've been to that I haven't been to. I would like for us, we did do a beer when we first opened up with a brewery in Mexico City, and I would like for us to go back down there and do that because I think it would just be a good experience. And plus, if I go down there, I would take that as an excuse to go to Oaxaca and try to check out some mezcal places, so mezcal makers. But I think I think Mexico City is one that we haven't gone back to and haven't done. In Europe, we've done a lot. I just haven't been to all of them. But we had plans to go to Poland, which unfortunately got canceled due to the COVID, and there was a couple of others which we were definitely looking into going to that we hadn't been to yet at all. So.
Nice. What's the Cherry Hop Tarts just asked? The craziest ingredient you've ever had or put into a beer?
Ooh. Craziest ingredient I ever had. I mean, there was a beer that had like they put ants into the beer, which was weird. I had it somewhere in Sweden. I can't remember where the brewery was.
Ants?
Yeah, there were ants in it. And you actually serve ants with it on the side. Like, you put the ants in there and you drink it and swallow them. The craziest ingredient that we've used... I don't know. I mean, we use a lot of, like, fruit and things like that. I'd probably say cream cheese is probably the craziest thing that we've done. Did like a cheesecake stout. So I would say that that's probably one of the craziest ingredients that we used in a beer, because it's kind of weird how you use it in a beer. So, but the beer came out good. And it was funny. Yeah. Literally like cheesecake. We did one with us, and then we did one at Southern Grits in Nashville as well, which came out really cool.
Nice. Safi's just said she's had crispy crickets as a beer snack. But so when can we expect the other half ant medley beer?
I don't know. It was a strange experience for sure.
I can imagine. So, if someone has been unfortunate enough never to have a other half beer in their time drinking beer, what would be the one that you'd say this will tell you what you need to know about us? This is the can you should go for.
Um, I mean, I would go out. I would go with Green City. That's like I feel like that's a nice balance. It's you know it's around 7%, a little bit over, and you know it's got some haze to it, but it's not too heavy. It's got good hop character. It's not too bitter, but it's dry enough. The oats give it a nice smooth mouthfeel. I think that would be the one. So this way they could tip the scale either way, whether they want to go lighter or stick with more IPAs, or if they want to go into double IPAs. Somebody said double mosaic daydream. I would say double mosaic dream. Lactose is something that I'm always like hesitant to give somebody as a basis for something. I definitely think, but double mosaic dream would probably be another one if I was going to do a double IPA. That I would say you should try this. This is really cool. You know, it's like it's not too heavy, even at 8.5%. The body's not crazy on it, but it's super fragrant. So you know, it's fruity, it's dry, it's got everything that you know. I think if you're gonna like what we do, you'd like in that. So
Awesome. So, I'm very aware of the time, and I don't want to keep you. Because obviously you're still in the throe of a working day, even though over here we're into the moonlight hours. Where can people, particularly over in Europe and UK, how can we hear more about you guys?
It's just following Instagram, the website. You know, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean that's what we post on. That's where everything that we have goes on. We put stuff up on stories, but also just some of the people that we follow and that follow us. And I mean, you know, it's a community, and I feel like the best way sometimes for people to see a lot of what's going on even more is to check out the community as well as checking out what we have. But as far as like information for us and what we actually have going on, it's the Instagram and the website are the places you're going to get that info from us on.
And it's anything you've got. I'll shut up for a second, which would be nice, wouldn't it? Anything you particularly like to say to everyone that's watching, or people that are watching the replay who are fans of Other Half, just given current situation, any messages, updates, rants, anything you want to get off your chest?
Nah, just you know, thanks to all the people that support us, with everything that we do. All the places that we go and all the places that we send beer and the people support it and trade for the beer. We appreciate that. I appreciate the love. Without all those people showing us love, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We wouldn't have been to the places that we've been. We wouldn't have had some of the experiences we've had. I've seen a lot of people pop up in the chat that I've spent personal time with, and it's phenomenal. And I hope that the community continues to grow, continues to share experiences with people, continue to educate each other, continue to hold it down for one another, have a good time. So, and share beers.
Awesome, man. Yeah, exactly. You got crack a beer. It's the best way. Andy, I can't say how much I appreciate you giving up your time to join us today. So thank you so much. It'd be great to get you back on when we've got some sense of normality and we can talk about upcoming stuff, particularly this side of the ponds that we hope to see your face at. But honestly, mate, thank you so much for coming on. Stay safe, and hopefully see you soon and keep doing what you do. We love it.
Of course. Thank you very much for the time. I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody else that tuned in and everybody else who shows up. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, man. Well, take care of yourself. We'll see you soon.
You too, man. Take care.
Take care, man. Bye.